So what we're going to be doing today is we kind of have two things that we're focusing on. We are focusing on vocabulary in this new text that we're going to be reading. And the book is called The Legend of Freedom Hill. This to each of you. And I said we're going to be focusing on vocabulary as well as this thing called dialect. Have you ever heard of the word dialect before? Have you at least heard of it? Okay, so dialect is, and we've talked about it briefly, but dialect is where people use certain vocabulary words based on where they live, like geography, or based on the time period that they're in. Okay, so as an example, I went to school in Radford, Virginia, right? And that's geographically located in Southwest Virginia. One of the words that they use that I had no idea was even a word. What do you call the thing when you go shopping with your mom in the grocery store?
The cart?
Shopping cart, right? Yeah, they called it a buggy. Like it was like a thing. They called it a buggy. I know, it's kind of funny. Yeah, so like I would go to the grocery store and they'd be like, "Do you need a buggy?" I'm like,
No.
I don't know. What is that? So that's an example of dialect, and that's a geographical example. Sometimes there are also examples of like words that were used more in the past that aren't used as much anymore. Did you say you wanted to add, Sophia?
Yeah. Like when I go to my grandpa's house, he lives in Michigan. He always like says, "You can throw your rubbish in the bin."
Yeah. So that's an idiom, which is a figure of speech. And those can also be geographically relevant because we don't really hear people in Northern Virginia say that, right? So we're going to kind of be thinking about dialect, and then we're also going to be thinking about vocabulary. So we're going to start with an activity. It's just a really quick activity. I want you to take a minute to preview the vocabulary words that go along that left-hand column. And then we'll go over the headings in just a second. So we've got yonder, hereabout, hightailed, disposition, Sabbath, commenced, and scurried. Okay? Now I want you to notice the headings. So our headings are, I have never seen this word. I have seen this word, just don't know what it means. I think I might know what it means. I know what it means. I could use this word in a sentence, or I could describe this word using synonyms, antonyms, and context clues. So that's like you know the word inside and out. Okay? So what I want you to do is just to take a minute. Do you guys have pencils?
Yes.
I got you.
You got a pencil. You got a pencil. We don't.
It's okay. I want you to take a minute, and I just want you to check mark where you are with that word. And go through each word, okay? You need a pencil? And Rachel, you need a pencil? Okay. And these are all words that are going to appear in our text that we're going to read. Nope, you go through and do all the words.
Is this? Yes.
So you only check one box. Yes, for each word.
But does it say disposition?
Disposition, yes. And keep working. Just listen as I'm talking, okay? Keep working. So the words, the actual activity that you're doing is something called a vocabulary reading guide. So this is just to get us thinking about what words do I know, what words do I not know. And it's not evaluative. It's not like, oh, I don't know this word, that's bad. It's nothing like that. It's just to make you aware, that's all. I'm going to give you about 30 more seconds. Okay, it looks like just about everybody is finished. So what we're going to do as we read the book, okay? When we come to that certain vocabulary term, we're going to start by trying to figure out what we think it means. And then what we're really going to be focusing on today, guys, is how to use context clues to figure it out, and then see if we can use the actual word in a sentence, okay? Yes?
When it says context clues, that's what I'm thinking. Do we just write the sentence down that it says?
So that's a really good question, and I'm going to actually demonstrate the first one. So I think it'll be more clear after I go over it, but if it's not, just let me know. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open the book. The Legend of Freedom Hill. And I'm going to read the first part, and I'm going to model how we're going to be using this chart to think about vocabulary, okay? Alright, so, see that hill over yonder? Okay, so we came into yonder. Alright. You guys don't have to write this down, I'm just going to do it. That's Freedom Hill. Around these parts, everybody knows how it got its name. Okay, so I'm thinking, see that hill over yonder? That's Freedom Hill. So I almost feel like they're pointing somewhere. So I think yonder might be like a synonym for over there.
Yeah, beyond.
Beyond, maybe? Okay. The context clues that support my thinking are the hill and Freedom Hill, because those are the words in the book. That's kind of what are kind of surrounding the word yonder that made me think that it might be something that's over there. Okay. And then what we're actually going to do is we're going to come back to this, use it in a sentence column for now. Okay. So that's all that we're doing. So when we encounter these words, we're trying to think about what we think it means, and then we're looking for context clues to help us figure out what we actually do believe that it means. Okay. So one good way, once you've figured out what you think it means, is to try to plug it back into the sentence to see if it fits. So, see that hill over there? That kind of works, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think yonder means. I'm going to keep reading. That's Freedom Hill. Round these parts, everybody knows how it got its name. The story is what you might call local famous. That's not to say everybody believes it. Knowing's one thing, believing's another. The whole business started with two little girls called Rosabelle and Sophie. They lived hereabouts back in the gold rush days. Notice we just came to our second word. They came hereabouts back in the gold rush days. It's talking about two girls. All right, so I want you to try and see if you can come up with what you think hereabouts means. We're not doing yonder because I did that. Yeah, it's okay. Nevaeh, take Natalie. You can use my pencil for now, but then you can sharpen both of them when you're done, okay? The whole business started with two little girls called Rosabelle and Sophie. They lived hereabouts, back in the gold rush days. One was black and one was white, and a pair of them as smart as whips. I reckon they got friendly because they were both outsiders. Rosabelle on account of her color, and Sophie on account of her religion. Hers was the only Jewish family in town. You don't have to do the use it in the sentence yet. We're going to do that independently later. Okay. Yeah, well, look at the word hereabout. It's a compound word, right? Here and about. So what do you think it means? Right about here. Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes, I know. So sometimes actual parts of words, we break the word in parts. In this case, we were lucky enough to break it into two words because it's a compound word. Remember, just like our government, federalism is compound. Okay, two parts. So this word was broken up into two parts, which made it easier for us to understand the function. Okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and turn the page. And I want you guys to read the next two pages. You can read out loud, but nice whisper reading. We're going to be looking for the word hightail. I believe is on this page.
What page? Page 8 of book 7.
Go ahead and start reading.
3 or 4.
So once you finish reading that section, whatever you think hightail means, I want you to go through that process. Okay. I'll give you an opportunity to share just a minute. I want everybody to have an opportunity to share. For those of you who are done working, I want you to think about this story. Are you connecting with anything that we've been talking about in social studies? So what are you connecting to?
I'm connecting to the Civil War, how they said that she was in the North and that's why she was, she was in the South and that's why she was a slave.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many abolitionists.
Mm.
I can connect because it says now Roosevelt had to carry freedom papers.
And what do we know about freedom papers? Who had to carry those?
Native Americans.
Native Americans
and slaves.
And not slaves.
Enslaved.
So enslaved means that you're a slave, but those who were free African Americans had to carry. Remember, like in Liberty Kids, Moses had to carry his freedom paper from Ben Franklin, Dr. Franklin. Yeah. Did you learn something? So we talked about the Fugitive Slave Act, which we did talk about, but this notion of slave catchers.
Mm-hmm. They had to go.
So this is like a legitimate profession. This is people's jobs. Was to go catch slaves that had escaped.
Somebody they didn't catch them.
They would stay in freedom, right? So this story is going to be about the slave catcher. Okay. Let's talk about vocabulary. So we ran into the word hightail. Sometime later, Miss Violet took Roosevelt and hightailed it to California. Found herself a likely wagon train, folks who cared more about gold than freedom papers. So what did you, and I'll get everybody to share. Sophia, what did you think hightailed it means?
It means like ran or went quickly.
Ran or went quickly. Yeah, I agree with you. What context clue would really help you think about that word?
Like when it said took Roosevelt and hightailed it to California, that made me think about it made me picture in my head her running quickly or something, because it's like something about the word high and then tail.
Yeah.
I thought it was highlighted.
Like I think about it like lightning fast. Yeah. Sam, what do you think about this word?
I think it means it's like a took and not the and it to California.
Yeah, absolutely, Rachel.
I think it was took too, and I also think what Sophia said,
Mm-hmm.
because it says took Roosevelt, but they took her, and took her to California.
Right.
But it says took idiots.
It could be something. And hightail it to California.
Jenna, what did you think about it?
I thought it was maybe going to or road.
So all of you basically said the same thing, you just used different words to describe it. But basically, hightail it means to get out, to leave. Okay. So we'll continue reading this book, and we'll actually continue with this strategy. Do you think you would have the discipline to do this on your own?
Maybe.
Okay. We're not going to do that, but what I'm asking is for like long-term sake. Like when you're reading a book, when you're not with me, and when you come to a word you don't know, will you have the discipline to try to use your context clues? Because that's what we're doing this for. This isn't just to put a check mark in the box. Oh, I did the vocabulary book. This is to teach you habits for when you come to vocabulary words that you don't understand, to try to use your context clues, the clues around the word, to help you figure it out. I'm not saying that when you go to 5th grade, if you come to a word, you need to make this triple or quadruple T-chart. Although you could, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Alright, you guys did a really wonderful job. Let's do this. Make sure that your names are on both pages. And you can actually stick the papers. Let's see, will you guys remember them in your blue working folder?
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't hole punch them for you. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Alright. Good job. Thank you. Why don't you sharpen this pen? And you can keep it in your bin. Okay. Alright, nice job. Do you need it? Or okay.